the term domestic violence, which dealt with intimate partner violence, was a definition of someone you have a relationship with, meaning that an intimate relationship occurs. That is considered domestic violence. Now, as the definition has evolved to now, we like to use the term relationship violence and look at it from a continuum of relationships. So you may have a brother and sister who is being violent towards each other.
Is college campus a breeding ground for domestic violence?
Absolutely. And one of the reasons why is because we, as college students, have a tendency to let down our guard because of the environment we're in. We're in an environment where like-minded people, people we have a commonality in, demographics as far as age, so they share the same ideas. And also it deals with the stigma of relationship violence, because we teach people to look for that monster, that obnoxious person, but usually it's a subtle type of form of violence. So it really takes people off guard, and it's kind of like what I talk about, like a slow leak effect. If water is leaking in your house and it's slow, you can still function in it and walk around in the water, but it's not until it gets up to your nose where it becomes a major issue.
Right.
So that's how it's kind of on a college campus. You're really looking at two different fronts. You're looking at how men are socialized to kind of, it's what we call male privilege.
Yeah.
Where men think they have a undeserved right to be a certain way, domineering, controlling in a relationship. Then on the other coin, you have women who are being brought up through the same type of lens, meaning that they learn from a young age that it seems socially acceptable, and also when we look at partner abuse from a male perspective, a lot of young men are trying to figure out what it means to be a man. Maybe they haven't had any model other than media representations of manhood, or they may have had a destructive model of a father figure, have you. But young men, and we look at enculturation, that's the passing down of traditional masculine values, is very problematic for young men to see a grandfather, a father, or uncle exhibit these kind of notions that women are, subjective to men, and men should be the boss, and that gets passed on. One of the ways that I look at courtship violence, I always look at it centering on the person who is actually the abusive person. I think sometimes we have a tendency to look at it from the person who is being violated and say, why don't that person just leave? That person shouldn't be with this type of person. But the question needs to be focused back on this person that's doing the abuse. And usually it stems from low self-esteem, controlling issues, what else? Trust issues. So, and most of it, the center focus is about power and control, controlling someone else. What makes it hard to get help?
Yeah.
Do you mean from the survivor of?
Yeah.
Okay. Usually what makes it hard is several things. One is the social stigma of relationship violence survivors. Somehow society has not been so much of an encouraging, an encouraging sense. And also the abusive person, the person who has been abused may be dealing with issues where the abusive person is friends of the other of their friends. They don't want to be ostracized. They don't want to have to kind of feel like they're dividing friendships. So all of these things come into play. And one of probably the most important, when you talk about why the importance of seeking help or trying to deal with this issue, is that the culture that we kind of, the environment really don't make it nurturing for someone to come up and to speak out about this issue, and we have to do a better job of that. Meaning that abusive people, abusive people, they work on a continuum, and they do what is called small victories, meaning that they don't just come out and become abusive or become sexually abusive. They work on a small scale, and it translate or it progress to something larger. So I'll give you an example. An abusive person may say something as far as trying to get their partner to not have contact with their mother, or to have that isolation, or to joke, as they say. You know, joke is a very sophisticated way of getting pushing an agenda. That can lead all the way from that small joke, winning those small victories, to a larger thing of sexual assault, because the person feels that this person is property, and they feel that, you know, I don't have to seek permission or be validated. You know, you are my property. Control again. So that's why it's very important to focus on the jokes and focus on the little subtle things, because that could eventually lead all the way to death. It's a major epidemic. If we look at the statistics, speaking, so to speak, we see that it costs, when we look at the health component of it, lost wages, lost time at work, productivity. It can equal up into the billions of dollars when we talk about that. So even to bring it, to look at it specifically on college campus, you see a lot of issues that deal with emotional, physical, psychological violence. So that all contributes to the welfare of the student. So it's definitely a huge issue, and I feel that it's not discussed because it seems like a taboo issue. No one wants to really admit to the actions of domestic violence. Okay. Well, actually, they've taken a proactive step with the position that I'm in as a graduate assistant for the violence prevention program. They have made a commitment to looking at this issue and also acknowledging the issue, because again, we have that tendency not to want to own up to that this is a issue and it factors into our students' well-being and health. So the Wellness Center here, which is under the umbrella of the Health Center, have worked. I have worked here for a year, and basically we're going out and trying to do awareness, education, build groups, have support groups, because we know that over 90% of rapes that occur, they are usually exacted on women. So we're trying to work with men, because the research has suggested that men speaking to other men about this issue is a very powerful element, and that's where change will come.